What's going on, guys? Devil's Advocate Boxing. I just want to drop a little prediction video. And this is by far one of the hardest predictions I've had to do since Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Nonito Donaire. And I gotta say, this one's probably a little bit harder, because even though I thought the Donaire-Rigondeaux fight was a 50-50 fight, I was more of a Donaire fan at the time, so I kind of leaned towards Donaire just because of that. And in this fight, I don't particularly have any bias or any favoritism towards either of these fighters. I like both of them. I think they're both good fighters. And it's just really tough. I mean, there's so many ways this fight can go. And yeah, I mean, I almost got to do the whole Dwyer disclaimer. You know, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. You know, don't bet on whatever I say, because anything could happen in this fight. Alright, so let's get to it. Let's look at the styles real quick. We'll start with Lucas Matthysse. A lot of people think that Matthysse is just some come forward machine brawler who's trying to take your head off. And I mean, is he a come forward machine who's trying to take your head off? Absolutely. But is he a brawler? No, he's not. A lot of people, they see that power and they see some of the things that he does in the ring. He gets a little wild sometimes. And just because of that, they start to take away credit for his boxing ability. And that's just, it's not right, you know. You'd have to be a fool to overlook this guy's boxing ability. He's not a brawler. He is just a very aggressive boxer-puncher, I'd say. You know, you can't categorize everyone exactly by a certain set style, but to me, I'd call him an aggressive boxer-puncher. Okay, and let's look at Danny Garcia. He is a big puncher, but in this fight, I mean, I think he's a little more well-rounded than Matthysse is. I think he could come forward. I think he could fight on his back foot. I think he could counterpunch. And I think in this fight, he's definitely going to play the role of the counterpuncher. Okay? Now, let's look at who makes mistakes. Okay? Danny Garcia, I think he's a good boxer, you know, like, nothing jumps out at you that says, wow, this guy is spectacular. But he has enough all-around skills to make it a tough fight against anyone. I truly believe that. You know, a lot of people give him shit for the way he performed against Zab Judah. You know, a lot of hardcore boxing fans, people who actually know how styles work, they thought Danny Garcia was going to get worked by Zab Judah. I mean, stylistically, Zab Judah has all the tools to beat Danny Garcia. And whether you think Matthysse won or lost against Zab Judah, you know, he lost. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what really happened. I thought that fight was extremely close. I can't, you know, I can't complain that they gave Zab Judah the win. I can't. I think he beat Alexander, but when it comes to Zab Judah, I can't complain for them giving Zab Judah the win. I just can't. So anyways, back to their mistakes. Danny Garcia, to me, he shows shades of being a great fighter, but then there's just certain times where he does things that, against someone like Lucas Matthysse, could get him just killed, you know. And then on the other hand, let's look at Lucas Matthysse. Like I said, his boxing skills are above average. They're a lot better than people give him credit for. Believe it or not, his defense is actually very good. He covers up very well. It's one thing a lot of people do not realize about Matthysse is that he's not that easy to hit. Okay? The only mistakes that I see Matthysse really making is that sometimes he gets very wild. Like, if I could explain it, there's two different types of punchers. You know, all these guys with extreme power. There's two different types. There are the guys that have heavy hands and very, very good technique. Like, I'd say Gennady Golovkin is a good example. He has very, very good technique. And, you know, if you guys ever box, you'd know that power comes from your technique. A lot of it comes from your technique. And when some people punch, they just do it with such flawless and effortless technique that the weight from their entire body just transfers so well, and it translates into a very hard punch. Okay, but I don't think Lucas Matthysse is that guy. I think that Lucas Matthysse is the other type of hard puncher, which is the type of guy that just puts as much sauce on every punch as he possibly can. I mean, you can totally see it when he punches. It's like he's angry or something, you know. Sometimes he winds up. Sometimes he, punches very wide. Sometimes his punches are extremely telegraphed. And, that, to me, is what could be his downfall against Danny Garcia. And see, that's what makes this so hard for me to predict, because I think both of these guys are on the same class. They're both champions. They both have heart. They're both tough. They both hit very hard. I'd have to give the power advantage to Matthysse. But it's a good style matchup. I think Danny Garcia is going to try to play the role of the counterpuncher. Lucas Matthysse is going to try to come out and be very aggressive. And, as we all know, Danny Garcia has very good timing. You know, he can catch you in the middle of those exchanges, in the middle of those flurries, and he could do damage, you know, especially since most of the time, if you're throwing a combination at someone, when you get hit, you're probably not going to see it because you're too busy focusing on your own punches, you know. So, man, this is just super tough for me. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna tell you guys that the only reason I'm really leaning towards this person is because I've doubted them in the past many times, and they've proven me wrong. And, you know, This time I'm actually going to give him a chance. I'm going to say that Danny Garcia makes fewer mistakes than Lucas Matthysse. And by mistakes, the only thing I'm really talking about with Matthysse is the fact that he gets very wild sometimes. And you know, I think Danny might be able to capitalize on that. And like I said, he's a little bit more well-rounded. If he has to, get on his bike and start boxing a little bit, I think he has a much better chance of doing that than, say, if Matthysse gets hurt or his game plan isn't working. I don't think he has anywhere else to go than to come forward and to be aggressive. But yeah, like I said, I got Danny Garcia winning this fight. Don't don't quote me, don't bet on it. I would not be surprised at all if Matthysse knocks him out in the first round or vice versa. This is just one of those great fights that we should all be happy that we're getting. It's going to be on one of the biggest cards in the past 10 years easily. And I'm just looking forward to it. But yeah, I got Danny Garcia winning a close decision, or no, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Danny Garcia by decision. Tell me what you guys think. Comment, subscribe. Peace.